Well, hello, hello, hello. My name is Sarah, and this is Pearls of Wisdom and Food with clean intermittent fasting and an OMAD. And here we go. I had to plug in the microphone. At least I remembered. How are you doing today? How is everybody doing today? I'm doing okay. Um, it's been interesting, and it is now October, and Greg passed in February, so I feel like I'm kind of coming out of the fog a little bit. I know I did some emotional eating at first in disbelief, and I was having more than I needed to. I was having more sugar than my body likes. It was responding with some kind of tough cramping. And so, although I knew I was doing all those things, I was fortunate. I've only weighed myself once since he passed, and or twice. And I dropped 3 right when he first died. I guess I didn't have an appetite. And then I got back to my regular weight, and that was probably 5 months ago that I did that. I haven't weighed myself since. I go by how my jeans fit, right? Don't a lot of us that aren't addicted to the scale, and you know who I'm talking to, um, whether or not, we want to know the information. Today I go to the doctor, and as soon as I walk in, boots and a fall jacket that's lined, they weigh me. And it's like, you know, I don't care what the weight comes up because it's like I'm wearing all this stuff. I wear my silver bracelets. It's like, it's not it's certainly not a naked weigh in on my regular scale. Oh, oh, I've got my little new kitty, Sweet Pea, as you can see, and she's just settling in fine. She is a talker, as you just heard, and she lets me know when she needs some lap time, some head scratching, and she lets me know when she's hungry. And she's like 1/3 the size of Freddie. So it's very interesting in how to deal with her more delicate size. And I don't want her to gain the weight that Freddie has gained over the years. And so it's interesting. So she has these little cries, as I said. One is I'm hungry. One is I want to go out. She doesn't get that she's never going out, and that she needs a little affection. And so it's interesting following up and giving her smaller portions. Um, Although I like to clean intermittent fast with 1 meal a day, I guess she needs like 4 little bowls of like kibbles and maybe some wet food per day. But it's little portions. And so, I didn't want to feed her that much, so I make it a smaller portion more frequently. She seems to be happy with that. But I stick to my clean intermittent fasting and my OMAD because it works. And as I've said here many, many times, especially in the last year, I believe it's not what you put in your OMAD that you're going to eat. It's what you don't eat or drink or put into any beverage or liquid um, during your fast, making it a clean intermittent fast versus not eating anything, a non chewing event. I've seen some videos where people talk about it when you're not chewing food. It's considered fasting. And, as I've said here a gazillion times, it's not it's not a sort of clean when you have 0 calorie drinks or sweeteners. I think that artificial sweeteners probably in the sodas and what we put in coffee, and then we make baked goods that are sweet with these artificial sweeteners that are kind of safe. Not really, but people consider them a BBC, a better bad choice versus sugar. I'm one of those. Have it with the sugar during your OMAD. Get it out of the way if you have to have it. I think that Americans are. I think I think we're born addicted. Have you ever, both of my sons were breastfed. Have you ever read the ingredients in formula? I think at an early age, we are addicting our children to sugar. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where, and as soon as, and as young as, these problems can begin. So, like most of us, I was addicted to sweet. And like most people in the world of being female and being always with the diet brain, thinking that having the artificial sweeteners or the alternative sweeteners, as I used to call things like xylitol and stevia, having those were better bad choices and would help us get skinny, stay skinny, satisfy the sweet tooth, all of the above. But I think that our brains and our metabolism and our insulin look at those sweeteners that aren't just plain old white cane sugar as the same thing. And so I think a lot of people, if they gave up their diet sodas for a week, I think that they would drop immediately. And they substituted water. I think they drop a hunk of weight, 5, 6 pounds, just because of the artificial sweeteners that it's not safe. It's not okay. It's not a good choice. It's not a BBC, a better bad choice. It's just not good for your body. And so anyway, but that's just me saying it. For me, I shouldn't say if you. But one of the things that I have found is that I listen to a lot of people that talk about keto and just a cleaner sort of diet. And this one woman talks about the food, the food items with less sugar as more earthy, the more earthy vegetables. And I guess I've developed the palate of more earthy vegetables. I'm used to my salad. I do put sometimes chopped pear or chopped ginger gold apples in it, or sometimes craisins for just a wee bit of flavor. I'm not thinking of it as sweet. I'm just thinking of it how it goes with all the vegetables and the dressing in the salad, and I like it. But it's like, when you think of a sliced apple that people might have as a treat, maybe with peanut butter or something, it's like two of those slices. So it's very, very minimal. It's like a tablespoon of nuts that somebody might add to their salad. Very minimal. And I do put sunflower kernels in mine. So I guess that's my version of nuts at this point. So anyway, in somehow getting away from sugar, my palate has gotten used to savory and not sweet. And it's a great place for me to land. I do enjoy the savory. I do, and by going to more savory and less sweet, it means I have a russet potato, a baked potato. I mean, my favorite meal right now is my salad, which is rather large and loaded, with a smaller beef patty that I cook in butter or ghee in my cast iron mini wok. I'd do it with bacon fat if I had it, but I don't have any right now, um, and a russet baked potato. And giving myself permission to have that potato. It's funny, I had a medium sized russet the other day, and I had as much as my body wanted with the patty. Then I had it with, I only had half of the patty. So then I did a repeat of that meal, and I still couldn't finish the potato. So I had it with yet a third meal, and I still didn't finish it. So it's just kind of funny that giving myself permission to have what it is that I'd like to eat versus what all the shoulds and the whatever somebody else says you should have, it worked. And I didn't have to have, a 2 pound overloaded, overstuffed, sour cream and chives and shreds of cheddar and butter sort of potato, a loaded potato. I could have just a simple baked potato with my Danish creamery butter. And after having less than a third of it, I was satisfied. I was satiated. And it's just a great feeling. I think that the size and the volume of the salad helps me a lot with the rest of the foods that I include into my OMAD because my belly, as I slowly eat, I have the salad along with the entree, and I slowly get fuller to the place of like comfortability, if that's a word. Um, Being okay, having my belly be comfortably full, not stuffed, but comfortably full, knowing that in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will reach that you're done, girly, when I have my berries. And so it's kind of neat. Um, and I'm delighted with it. And that's what I share here because it works for me. I found when I switched to the no deprivation, and I was allowing things like the ice cream and the cookies and maybe some sort of desserty thing, I gave myself permission and I had my fill and I did not like the cramps, so that stopped. Now I do have sometimes a grain, a slice of bread, maybe a muffin that does have sugar in it, but it's not overloaded with sugar. It's like a blueberry muffin. Um, that it satisfies. It's okay. It fits to me. It fits into the savory category because it's not considered a sweet thing. And so over the last, year as I've been discovering things and coming to conclusions and feeling good about certain things, when I have my seeds and grain rustic bread, I might have French toast. And I have that with maple syrup, and I don't get the cramps. So it's a go figure. Maybe because it's an all natural, it's more, I don't know. But it doesn't affect me. Maybe the grains in the bread, the carbs help it. I don't know. But all I know is that I don't suffer the sugar leg cramps after having a French toast meal, along with the big salad as well. So I'm eating less French toast still, as like what I would have considered a portion back when. So it's just interesting um, to allow my menu to be no deprivation and how it's all working out. Things that I just wouldn't have anticipated. And the way that I fuel up during the OMAD as I get ready for the next clean intermittent fast that's going to take me into the next day between like 1 and 2, it all works out. Yesterday I had a salad, my usual salad, and I made a keto pizza, and it was great. And I had 3 slices of that along with the little bowl of berries. And I only have enough berries for like half of that. I'll add some grapes. Yesterday I got some organic green and red grapes at Whole Foods. So it's just interesting to still have that little sweet with the berries. I like the berries because of the antioxidants. I figure that it's probably a good choice. But then I buy the grapes every now and then just because an alternative. And then sometimes when having the apple and the pear in the salad, it's just like a little more taste of a fruit, but not a whole fruit. So it's just all working out. I don't question it. I just take it in as this is helpful in me making my decisions. So the clean intermittent fast is never anything where I'm hungry or jonesing or ready to throw in the towel and have a mini meal before I have my OMAD and just have to have that first thing, call it a snack, call it a, carry me to the OMAD. I don't have to do that. Whatever it is that my body likes and wants for my OMAD does last me to when I sit down to my OMAD the next day. It just works out. I guess I stop questioning it and just take it as this is what's working now. And I know emotional hunger, trust me. I have lived by my emotions. I have fed my emotions for 73 years. So I know what it's like to eat emotionally versus satisfying a true hunger for some fuel to put into my body that's going to last me to the next time that I eat. It's just a shift. Getting rid of the diet brain is like the biggest gift you can give yourself. I think as a female in America growing up, it's I remember 9 years old, you know, starting to gain the weight and starting to be aware of like what it was that like I shouldn't have, but I continued to do it because I was as a very chubby person all the way through school until I started like crazy diets or smoking, which, kept the weight at bay because I could light a cigarette instead of having, a, a, a Dunkin' Donut cruller or something, right? Same thing, right? And so I've just been so excited to like stop thinking of food and looking at every single thing of food and just like it's like those balloons they put in cartoons where somebody has their thoughts in there. It's like carb, sugar, calories. Or the first four ingredients, canola oil, soybean oil. You don't want to have this. That's it, and why do most of those desserts start with canola oil and soybean oil? There's a reason. I think the seed oils are more devastating to the American diet than the sugars, the alternative sugars, and the artificial sweeteners because they're just everywhere. I mean, when I read them, in some ingredients, it's just absolutely crazy what the manufacturers put. I ran into a friend in Whole Foods yesterday, and she has an app that you can actually put in all the rundown. And I don't want to give out the information about it because I haven't loaded it onto mine yet, so I'm not quite sure. But she eats a lot like people that watch this channel eat. And she says, 90% of the food that's in here, and this was Whole Foods, right? Where I guess part of the deal was is they didn't have things with high fructose corn syrup, which, is the deadly one. 90% of the food in Whole Foods outside of produce is like non-edible or shouldn't be or isn't part of a good nutritional food plan because of the ingredients that they sneak in and get away with. Like somebody that would never have something something, but they have something something, and you read the ingredients and it's like seed oils, it's vegetable oil, it's canola, it's soybean oil. Those things are just so harmful. So I just wonder what these keto snacks have. Keto sugar snacks or desserts or recipes or breads or any of those things, they might as well just have the real thing, girly or boy. It they're so loaded with unnatural, maybe not safe ingredients. And the seed oils, they're gonna get you. They got me. When you see the medications that we end up taking because we have developed these chronic diseases because of food choices, when you get to be, you know, 50, 60, 70, like a lot of us are, we have, we've done a number on ourselves. And yeah, it's like, sorry for laughing, but it's like I need to take this with me to read the ingredients on the breads or on the desserts or on the packaged food, right? Because I can't see, and the ingredient labels are so small, and how they tuck the stuff in. They get you. So I try to eat a whole food diet. Most of my grocery shopping is in produce with the small piece of meat. I could have a little 4-ounce, 3-ounce hamburger patty every day. I could. That could be my meat. I know that I would want a pork chop every now and then too. But my copious amounts of red meat that I used to eat, it's just, I'm not that person anymore, and I'm really enjoying it because I have a lot of veggies, I have a lot of volume, and there's no vegetable in produce that I won't buy and have because I can. Now to me the delight is to have a sweet potato or russet potato or acorn squash, butternut squash, something like that, as opposed to the bakery aisle and having one of those, one of those, one of those. I'm not the big fruit eater that I was. I'm happy with my berries. I'm happy with just a few grapes. I'm happy with, that tablespoon or two in my salad of a pear or an apple just for the crunch and the texture. It just all changes, and I'm delighted. It took so long to get here. So much went diet brain stuff, the scale addiction, the weighing and measuring, and it's like I have what I want in my OMAD, and my satiation button meter, whatever, goes off, and then I'm done, and it lasts. And learning that something that you eat during your OMAD is going to take you the whole distance to the next OMAD, that's also part of the journey. Seeing what you eat that you can hold over yourself. When I have my coffee in the morning, my fresh brewed French press coffee, it's strong and it's black and I love it. Then I make the second one around 9ish and I have it again and I put salt in it and it kind of carries me through. So I'm having that second French press with my, pink Himalayan salt ground into it, like 4 grinds of it into my Fiesta mug, and I'll have that. I'll go back to work, and I don't know, it works. I don't have to eat something. I don't have to cheat. I don't have to have a bite. I don't have a case of the Effits and just, have that thing in the break room because it's there. If I was in the break room, which I'm not because I go home and I make the fresh brewed coffee, I would definitely, look at all of yesterday's pastries that they put out for the employees in the break room, and I could allow them to talk to me, but I don't. I don't want the physical reactions anymore. And and that's a switch from the diet brain, because the diet brain would say, "Oh, it's sugar and you're going to gain weight and you're going to get fat and you're going to want to eat more and then you're going to and then you're going to and then you're going to." It's the same ending. I don't have it, but it's not the diet brain forcing me not to have it. It's the choice I've made not to have it, not to need it, not to want it anymore, not to have that hankering. And I didn't ask to be relieved of the sugar craving. It just has evolved, and I'll take it. I will take it. Anyway, it's time for me to go. Thank you so much. I will see you here the next time. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food, with clean intermittent fasting and OMAD, what works for me, what doesn't. And I want your comments below. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you here the next time. Bye bye for now.